Welcome back, everyone. Episode 5 of Racecast. If you're listening to us, thank you very much. You can do that on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, comment down below, like the video, and go and follow us on social media. It is all in the description. But we're going to crack on.
All right, guys, welcome along to episode 5 of Racecast. We're back, and let's just say yesterday's race did not disappoint, did it?
When we say yesterday, it's currently Monday. You're going to be listening on Wednesday.
Okay, so let's rephrase
Sunday's
race. Sunday's race.
It didn't. And I think we'll crack into that a bit further down. But I think it was worth waking up early in the morning for. I'm going to say that much.
Let's go right back to Friday with practice.
All right.
You didn't get up, did you?
Firstly, who the fuck woke up at 4 a.m. to watch that? Was it 4 a.m.?
4 a.m., yeah.
If you did, you're a mad bastard, right? Because I was going to set my alarm. And then I was thinking about it. I don't know, it was like 10 in the evening. I was like, fuck that.
Yeah, no, there was no... So
to watch free practice?
Yeah, no, I didn't do it. Because I was worked all week last week, and my first lay-in in like 12 days. I was like, there's no way I'm getting up at 4.
Oh, yeah, I had a busy one as well. Last week.
I have a feeling you're lying. If you know Luke, he's lying to you, okay? I did get up for the 7 o'clock one.
Yeah, I did that.
FP2. Again, Ferraris basically looked the strongest, didn't they, throughout that?
Yeah, it was a pretty telling... They were quite telling, the practice sessions. Like I say, I didn't watch FP1. I didn't watch FP2. I didn't watch highlights. I looked at what happened, basically. But yeah, no... It was telling, basically. That pretty much sums up free practice from the whole weekend.
It was interesting though, wasn't it? Because you messaged me and you're going, McLaren's look quite good. And I was just like, nah, it's just free practice. There's no way. However, I'm going to apologise now because I think we both need to apologise here because we have slated McLaren.
Yes.
And...
I mean, they got it really wrong. They did deserve a battering from the boys.
They did, yeah, I agree with you on that. They did. We may be a bit harsh. Norris, Danny, you did a good job this weekend. That's all I'm going to say.
Mate, unbelievable. Now, I even put the hat on for the race. Not this one. This is Mercedes, obviously. But because what really impressed me is I think we were sitting on an Instagram live last week before the race. And like someone asked, like, do you think the McLarens will get good? And I don't think we said no, but...
No, you ripped him to shreds.
No, I'm pretty sure I said, A, it's going to take time.
Yeah.
And B, they're not going to get good. They'll get better. Now, I'm not going to lie. After last week, they got good. That's a good car.
Yeah.
I don't know where they found the time. They found a lot of time. I don't know the numbers specifically. But they were up there in free practice. I mean, they were putting in... I mean, Lando was... putting in competitive times.
Well, let's just discuss. Yeah, okay. This is going to be a common feature every week now because I came around early on and Luke was like, mate, last week you had some shockers. And I was like, yes, I know. I think I've got like some sort of stutter or something because...
You're nervous in front of all...
Not nervous. I just can't get my words out.
I was nervous once as well.
Were you? Yeah. I'm not nervous. But I just want to say, upgrades. Mercedes... did bring no upgrades.
They didn't bring any.
No. Which was quite shocking, really.
It was quite upsetting as a Mercedes fan when initially it was like, okay, obviously they stink. The car stinks. But we will go into that a little bit more because I think that's just scratching the surface.
Yeah.
And originally we were expecting Imola upgrades. Fine, we'll sit out like a few races. Then all the rumours were, Australia, it's happening. Like, journos were reporting it and everything. So
you even got so excited. You even put for Mercedes win.
I was banking on them. They made me look an idiot. I was sitting there fucking embarrassed. That car in free practice. And don't even get me started. Their Instagram posts. Positive session. Learnt lots. Shut up. You're not even in top 10. Do you know how jarring that like constant positivity is? I just want them to be like, wow, that was a shit show. Yeah, it was.
You want them to be honest, don't you? Like, Williams, for example, when Latifi doesn't crash, we'll touch on Latifi later because I think we should just have a segment each week of just the Latifi show. But you want, don't you? Instead of them going, "Oh, nasty crash," you want them to go, "Wow, he fucked up there," or Stroll, what the fuck was he doing? You want to see that.
And I honestly, it is so jarring, and we've made a few comparisons on here to like to football, where like sometimes used it as like an analogy. Imagine, right? Liverpool Man City. That was on Sunday as well. Liverpool lose 2-0. They post a picture. Great performance. Learned a lot about the team. Really happy. No. That does not. What's with this weird positivity?
How triggered would you be if you saw that?
I don't follow them. On social media, I just unfollow them.
What, you would unfollow them, or you don't follow them?
No, I would unfollow them.
Oh, you would? I was going to say.
Football teams don't do that.
No.
And it really wound me up over the weekend. You know, I'm waking up early to watch my team.
Yeah.
And they're stinking it up. Fair enough. That's, you know, these things happen when, like, you know, new regs come in, they got to build a brand new car. Put a fucking lid on the positivity, won't you?
Especially as a Mercedes team who have dominated for the last 8 years, and then you're happy with
P10, P11 or P12, whatever it was.
Great session by George, P11. No,
it wasn't.
That's not a great session.
It was a shit session.
That's not a great session. How can you be proud of that? Before we continue, can I just say, we haven't even mentioned the new added...
We did say we were going to fill this gap.
We did.
And shout out to the boys at neonvibes.co.uk. Believe it's that. The link will be in the description. Yeah, they make these custom made. You can send them. I just sent him a little picture and I was like, I want it to look something like this. And he sent me a design back and then I was like, perfect. They did also make the waffling sign as well. So we know they're good guys. So if you are interested in something like that, get involved and go and contact them.
They smashed it. I have to say, for the audio listeners, it's not very good because we're talking about it like, as you can see. No, check it out on our social media.
It doesn't sound that good.
No, it's not good. But no, they absolutely smashed it. I love it. Really good added extra to the set. We're pretty much there. We got the K-Mag mask.
Yeah.
Got your little. I've got another one coming for you soon.
Yeah, we'll save it.
You have done TikToks this week, so you do get another present. So
I
that's
got one. I did one TikTok.
No, you did 2 last week. Yeah, you did 2 last week.
Did I?
Yeah. Be proud of yourself.
Yeah, I did 2. Did I?
Yeah, you did. I'm pretty sure you did 2.
Pretty sure I did 1 from the last episode.
Anyway, you did 1, so that's an improvement. Yeah. Let's touch on qualifying. You know, we touched on practice. Qualifying. After practice, I was expecting Ferrari to walk away with it. However, we did start to see the pace in the Red Bull. Yes. Max did look good. So that kind of question, when it got to qualifying, I was a bit like, I think it's going to be a Ferrari, like 1-2, but I wasn't so sure with Max being so strong.
Yeah, well, I think after 2 races, or the 2 races at least, I think we're all sort of in a position now where it's like, I expect that Ferrari to be on the front. You expect it to be Charles Leclerc as well.
Yeah.
But the Red Bulls did look quick. I mean, in qualifying, Max put in that lap. If his back end didn't go,
it would have been
that would have been some lap. And he lost 3 tenths. I'm not sure what his final time was. Pretty sure he would have been P1.
But can we also touch on the fact that actually Carlos Sainz was on a flying lap as well? And then he got red flagged, so his time didn't count. He was on a flying lap as well. He looked good.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm not going to talk about Carlos Sainz for the rest of this, apart from when he...
Because you've got a big soft spot for him.
I like
everyone's established that now.
But...
He had a stinky weekend.
He had a stink of a weekend. Yeah, no, I completely agree with you on that. One guy who did look quick until he went off, Fernando Alonso.
Yeah.
Quickest in Sector 2. He looked like he was on for a front row start.
Yeah, and I think those Alpines look stupidly fast.
They do. Yeah.
I think he was on for a good lap, but I was a bit surprised. A man of his experience. I mean, he was saying that he couldn't shift the gear or something.
He couldn't shift down, yeah. So he couldn't change the gear down, so that's why he went off. It wasn't him who did it. It was actually.
Yeah, but all I'm saying is, if I went off when I was on a flying lap, I'd be like, "Oh, there was something ran out in front of me." Like I would lie. I'd make something up.
What? So you'd do like a Stroll? Whoa, Latifi just came out of nowhere. Yeah, that type of thing.
But so that's all I'm thinking. Like, yeah, could you, or did you just push too hard?
No, he did make the excuse, didn't he? He said he couldn't shift down. You heard it in his radio message. He couldn't shift down. So
yeah, but that's my point.
Oh, so you would do?
I would do the same.
Yeah.
If I fucked up, I'd be like, "Oh, what happened there?" Knowing full well that it was my fault. I'd be like, I'd do the Mazepin. Something wrong with that car. But like, that wasn't me.
I want the same car as my teammate. Like, I don't want anything else.
I just think it's an easy get out of jail free card because Sainz did the same. Said something about change. Oh, this one threw me off, right? Because he was saying something about having to change his steering wheel before the race.
Yeah, he did.
It's a steering wheel. What difference does that make?
It's got an extra button.
No,
it's got an extra button.
All right. Well, what difference does that make?
It makes no difference. It's a poor excuse.
Change the steering wheel. Let me know if I'm wrong and I'm just being naive here. But
No, I don't think you are. A steering wheel is a steering wheel.
Well, yeah.
In my opinion.
So why is he coming out saying that? It's like, it's difficult. I had to change the steering wheel. It's like, yeah. But it's still...
This one doesn't steer.
Yeah, unless it doesn't actually turn the wheels, you've got no excuse. Like, what's the difference?
No, this one doesn't steer.
It baffled me, and I sat there and I thought, no, that's whack. Come up with something else.
All right.
So you didn't feel very well.
Yeah, okay.
Had a headache.
Well, K-Mag did that on the Friday, didn't he? He said he didn't feel very well.
Yeah, well, it showed in the race.
Yeah. All right, scenario. You're driving, okay, for McLaren. You spin off. Really nicely spin on a flying lap. They come to you and go, "Oh, what happened there?"
Banana skin, that's the easiest one.
Yeah, but then that would indicate that's kind of your fault.
What, if someone left a banana skin?
Oh, yeah, but how... Okay, no.
In the road?
In the road. How often do you see banana skins, like, in an F1 track?
It was unlucky, wasn't it?
It's not bloody Mario Kart.
That's where my mind would go.
Luigi chucking around. No, it's not how that works. But, okay, a valid excuse. What would you say? Luke, are you right there? What happened?
The thing is, I don't know enough about cars, so I'd probably say something that would make... I'd be like, I lost pressure in the front left. I don't know what it means, but like... Kind of kick the tyre, because you have to kick it to pretend you know what you're talking about.
You used to do it for Verstappen.
Yeah. I wouldn't kick that hard. That must have penalised his foot.
Yeah, you'd probably kick, wouldn't it?
But, yeah, no, I'd say something like that.
It'd be like something from Friends. Yeah, the phalanges break.
Yeah.
Oh, how many phalanges are there? There's normally 7. I don't know.
But I certainly wouldn't come out and say, I had a new steering wheel. Surely that improves the car. You've got a new steering wheel. You've never ever heard someone go to what are they called? Mechanic. Someone go down to the local garage to get a new wheel put on their car, and they're like, oh, they crashed the next day, and they're like, I think it's the new wheel. Well, no, it's not. This got nothing to do with that. Why are you blaming pointless things? Is my point.
That was a pointless thing. Let's quickly touch on our favourite segment. You know what it is.
What, Latifi?
Latifi and Stroll.
Well, firstly, if you're listening, get involved. If you're watching, because if you're listening, you probably can't comment. So if you're watching on YouTube right now, Stroll or Latifi, whose fault? Because it was blamed on him. I'm right.
I have to apologise to Latifi because I put a post up on Instagram going Latifi crashes again or something. And
I messaged you saying man, that is Latifi's fault.
Yeah. But after review, Stroll, man, what were you doing?
Just turned into him.
Come on. I understand why. So Latifi thought Stroll was on a fast lap or getting ready for a fast lap, so he let him go. Stroll then slowed down. I think they let one of the Hasses go past. Next thing I know, Latifi's like, oh, well, Stroll's not actually going for a fast lap. I want to get some speed up. So he picked it up. And Stroll was just little miss Daisy just going across and just took him out. I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah, no, it was actually like watching a civilian car crash.
Yeah, it was just
it was and at first it really did look like Latifi's fault. It looked like he had let Stroll pass, and then he was like, "Oh no, actually, I want it back," and then like dived down this narrow little gap. But then you see like the camera where Stroll literally turns
doesn't
into him.
Doesn't even look.
His turn brings him off the racing line.
Yeah. I do get why Stroll did want to move in, because he thought a car was coming up the inside. Because if you look behind, there was like, I think it was Valtteri Bottas or Joel coming up behind. So he wanted to come over. But I mean, you've got to look when a car's coming in.
Do you think he knew Latifi was there? No, I don't think he would.
No, come on. I mean, if it was Stroll, you got to be out of sport. The worst thing about it was, though, our agenda against them seems to be paying off, because everything we say about them is actually right. Latifi has crashed in every race so far this season.
Yeah.
Stroll has been
a cock.
I was going to say poor, but yeah, okay, if you want to go for that. But that just, these are professional drivers. There's 20. These are meant to be the best drivers in the world, and they're making mistakes like that. I mean,
they're like mistakes that you see like driving downtown. You see someone like turn into someone.
When you go for a driving test, or you're going for a driving lesson, what's the first thing they say to you?
Mirror, signal, maneuver.
Yeah, and what did he do? Maneuver.
Yeah,
and just went
crashed.
You go crash, yeah. But it just made me laugh, because all of a sudden you just saw this tire just weird going down the road after.
Yeah, it was, and it looked.
It was a nasty crash.
Yeah, it was. It was nasty. But because Stroll also. Are we going to move on to? Well, I guess we can finish qualifying. But there's more to come on Stroll, because he got in trouble in the race as well.
That kid.
We can touch on it now if you want. Yeah. We're talking about Stroll. Let's just do it. Obviously, he was weaving. I mean, he was, and he did it more than just the one time.
It was evident
that he got reprimanded for.
Because I was watching it, I was going, "What's he doing?" It just didn't make. He made his first move, which was fine, but then he was just coming back. I was like,
like coming back way before the corner.
I was like, no, mate.
Nah, it looked sketchy, and Bottas actually said he's the most aggressive driver. I saw.
Which is ironic, really, because you got Max Verstappen on the grid.
Well, yeah, who was like Mercedes' arch rival last year. But Verstappen's
safe in that sense. Stroll is dangerous.
Yeah.
He's, you don't... I think it's always worrying when you don't know if that car in front of you is actually going to do the right thing.
And I guess it comes down to, right, if Max Verstappen was driving dangerously, you'd be like, okay, but at least he's a good driver.
So he could get out.
You trust his like dangerous driving,
yeah,
to an extent. I didn't last season,
but
I feel that's because he knew that a crash would benefit him.
Yeah.
But when you see Stroll do it, I think, why are you driving dangerously? You're not racing for anything anyway.
When you get P17, get it.
Yeah,
well happy about it. Yeah.
What is the point?
No, I don't really understand it, and I know this segment on Stroll, but. There was a comment the other day on one of our posts asking, do you think Lawrence Stroll would eventually get to a point when he goes, my son is ruining his team, I've got to get rid of him? My answer to that is no. I think Lawrence Stroll is so proud that he would get rid of his own son.
And I think you have to put your mind in the shoes of a father. A father. I don't know why I said that.
Wow, have you been listening to me?
Yeah. In the shoes of a dad who's like seen their son like grow up, become this like. Again, we know they're all good drivers, but when we say they're bad drivers, we mean they're bad F1 drivers. There's a
difference.
You see him become this Formula One driver, and there's no way he wants to take that dream away from him. No. He won't do it, and. The guy's a billionaire.
I think he'd rather
see money to burn.
I think he'd rather see the team fail than.
Yeah, but don't get me wrong, that's a problem.
That's dangerous,
obviously.
Especially for a team like Aston Martin, that name is too big to let someone ruin it like that. I mean, you look at their weekend. Seb didn't even get out in no, I lie. Seb didn't get out in FP3.
We should give a shout out to their mechanics because
outrageous.
What the hell?
Granted, there was a red flag. It gave them an extra few minutes, but they did a fantastic job to even get it out there.
Yeah, but I bet what they actually needed was like 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Or maybe 3-4 hours.
But it gave them literally like an extra 10 minutes. Do you think you can get it done in 10 minutes? Yeah, sure. Crack on. Like, what do you look?
They smashed it.
Yeah, they're outrageous. But they're the unsung heroes, though, aren't they? The mechanics, the work they do. Do you remember Leclerc last year when he went into Monaco, completely destroyed his car? Granted, he
not
didn't
sure
start.
if that was the best example.
Yeah, granted, no, but they still got the car together. I mean, it's not their fault they decided that.
I could have sellotaped the car together. It is quite important that it's working.
Oh, God. Please don't put that in another TikTok. Don't put that in a TikTok, please.
I just think, like, of all the examples you could have used, you used the one where they actually put a car out that didn't work.
Well, no, it did. It got around half a lap. And
They're great when they spend all night fixing a car and then they don't actually fix it.
Destroying me.
Back to Aston Martin.
Yep.
They did have a shocker.
They're woeful.
They're awful. I mean, that weekend was on par with maybe like a Haas weekend last year.
Oh, one of the worst weekends I've seen from a team. Like everything. I shout out to the moped and Seb. Loved that. He got fined 5,000 for that. But
what is wrong with all these like weird fucking rules they're bringing in? Like, not allowed to wear jewelry.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
Why?
But Lewis was still wearing jewelry because he's like, well, it's not a rule that got brought in, so I'm just cracking on with it.
Look, why do they care? What does it matter?
No. Well, what are you going to do? Get in a crash and your nose stud got caught in the helmet?
He died because he had his ear pierced.
Yeah, it went through
his brain.
So
we're not taking the blame for that.
I don't know. I think they just kind of crack down on things, aren't they? But it doesn't really make much sense to me. Should we talk about the race?
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. That is a good
idea. Leclerc obviously started on pole, followed by the two Red Bulls of Max Verstappen, Sergio Perez.
Go on, are you going to do the whole grid?
I probably could. No, I could. Alonso was fourth. No, he wasn't. Who was fourth?
Good start. Who was fourth?
Yeah.
Thing. I'm wearing his top.
Oh, Norris. Yeah, of course. Norris was fourth. Then it was Hamilton, George.
Gets a bit blurry.
Yeah, it's a bit blurry after
You
that.
Stop at Mercedes.
Yeah, because I know where they are. But I think it was a Alpine. No, Alonso was 10th. I know that.
Yeah, Ricardo, he went out in Q3.
Ricardo was 8th.
7th he might have been.
Yeah, and that.
It was 7th. Like Gasly,
someone
the usual.
Around. Yeah, someone around.
The Haas underperformed.
Massively.
Yeah.
Like,
why?
I couldn't tell you.
Don't know what I'm asking you.
Yeah, I was there. K-Mag was ill.
Yeah.
The day before. That really hampered his practice. But they just looked off the ball.
Yeah,
they didn't have the performance. Because they spoke to Gunter and they were like, what's the concerns? He wasn't concerned about it. He said it's just one of those weekends where they couldn't get the setup right for Magnussen. Mick, I was hoping for a good weekend for him. I thought he'd be in top 8, but he was actually pretty...
I mean, K-Mag did come through in the race, to be fair.
He did, but he was solid. He was solid throughout. For them...
But like, all I'm saying is that they didn't look like they had the pace that they did have.
No.
And is that other teams taking a stride forward, or is it Haas maybe?
Well, I don't think Haas had upgrades, did they, this weekend?
Oh, there was a list.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they didn't have upgrades.
Every team but 3 had upgrades.
But Gunter said about upgrades, just touching on upgrades, sorry, we're going off on a tangent here, but he even said that actually he doesn't see the point of upgrades in the sense of he doesn't want to do it for the sake of it. Because a lot of teams feel like they need to bring in upgrades because they need to actually follow what other teams are doing. For him, he's like, well, no, we bring upgrades where we need them rather than for the sake of it.
Yeah, but I think that is easier said for a team like Haas.
Yeah.
Whereas you look at Red Bull and even Mercedes, who are actually trying to go for that, and the Ferraris, of course. But the point is that they don't look like they need upgrades at the moment.
No, they're solid.
Teams like that,
maybe a new steering wheel.
Yeah, for signs. Maybe a new driver. But they almost do have to bring in upgrades.
Yeah. Because
it's like, oh shit, Ferrari have brought in an upgrade. We can't afford to like not do something to at least try and counteract that. Yeah. Whereas a team like Haas, well, they started towards the top end of the midfield. Even if they next couple of races they drop to the middle of the midfield.
It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Even if they drop to the bottom end of the midfield after 6 races, they've got all the points they need.
Yeah.
And then they can be like, well, actually, we can pick up some pace here. Let's throw a bit of money at it, get some upgrades in. All of a sudden, they're back like to the top end of the midfield.
Yeah. I mean, on a whole, it turned out all right. Mick had a shocker. K-Mag had a decent end, shall we say,
Yeah.
to the weekend.
And he pushed Lewis a little bit at one point.
I wouldn't say, it was a... But yeah, no, he looked like
they had the pace.
Yeah. That's mad, isn't it? We're saying Mercedes and Haas in the same sentence. That's just mental.
I fucking told you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, okay. Good start by Leclerc. He was pretty solid from the beginning. He didn't really look, troubled from Max at all. He had a good gap up until the first pit stop. I think the gap was about 4 or 5 seconds, so they had a good window. The undercut didn't really help that much. It wasn't that as effective as we have seen in Saudi Arabia and Bahrain.
No, I think he did gain a little bit of time, but it was just a little bit. Yeah. He still came out in front, and we saw that if Charles stayed in front, he was staying in front.
Yeah, he didn't look troubled at all. Sainz did go off very early. He had a spin. Apparently his steering wheel wasn't connected properly. No, just making excuses for him. Which was a shame, really, because the Ferraris looked so good. I was really hoping for a good result for him this weekend, because you've got to remember, and I know I do like Sainz, but it is concerning, isn't it? If your teammate is flying off into distance in the same car and getting these performances, and you're, he's not even second in the championship standing at the moment.
George Russell is.
Yeah, no, this is what's mental.
How has that happened?
Ferrari with such a strong car, and Carlos Sainz isn't even in the top. He's not even the second in that, which is just mad.
Yeah, well, look, I've called it, and I was actually speaking to a mate about this earlier. He's consistent in the sense that he's never bad. He's never consistently brilliant.
Yeah.
Whereas I think you've got those drivers that are like next level drivers. I think he's very, very good. I just don't think he's that good.
Okay, so my question would be, with Ferrari, how good they are at the moment, is he a Ferrari type driver? Because obviously he's...
I would not change the team at all.
I mean,
honestly, I think that team is perfect.
Yeah.
And I was talking to the same mate about like who you think the actual best teams are in terms of like driver pairings. And I would say, I do think Mercedes have the strongest lineup.
Yeah.
I think Ferrari have the second strongest. And then I think Red Bull have the third. With that being said, I think Lewis and Max are still the best drivers on the grid. I think Charles has this season to prove that he's up there with that pace.
I'm not being funny. He's definitely on course. If he keeps going the way he is, he's going to be a world champion pretty quick.
After like 10 races at this rate.
Yeah, it's getting that stage already. And
which is why, I guess in terms of constructors, I quite like the fact that Sainz went out.
It kind of levels it out a bit.
Yeah, and then obviously Max went out again.
Yeah.
Another DNF.
Let's quickly touch on, throughout the race. So first stint, Leclerc led basically, he did lead every lap of that race. Vettel had a nasty crash. Hamilton got screwed over again by safety car. Seb crashed. Hamilton had pitted beforehand. Then the safety car came out. George...
It's literally one lap.
George did the undercut. Well, I suppose George did do the undercut. He got out ahead. He came in for his pit stop, came out in front of Lewis. And that's basically how it ended, really, wasn't it? But let's touch on Max Verstappen, because that is really concerning. If you're a Red Bull fan and you are obviously Max Verstappen, world champion, you've had 2 DNFs in 3 races. That's big.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that is big. And I was looking at something that was saying like the most amount of DNFs that a driver has had and then gone on to win the championship. And I think it was like 4. I think it's like Michael Schumacher in like 2001 or 2 or something. So, he hasn't got
I mean,
a lot more that he's able to actually.
Because the radio message was like, "I've got some shit spraying out," wasn't it? Wasn't that he said?
He said he could smell something. So I did actually. There was a great. I'm all over Reddit now.
Are you?
Yeah, I don't understand it, but I just I just read what people say, whether it's true or not. But I basically.
Did you see my comment in there? Carlos Sainz going to win championship.
You put that on Reddit?
No, I didn't put it on Reddit.
What were we saying?
About Max Verstappen.
Yeah. No, he could smell something, but it wasn't the same issue as Bahrain, but it was still like a fuel-related issue. But I'm pretty sure he could have carried on racing. He just lost power.
They literally... No,
they told him to stop
They told him to stop the car.
Yeah.
But I think something was spraying as well from it. That's what
he said it smelled like more chemically. But had he have stayed on, right? Now, this is one thing that I did see. Let's say his car was just fine.
Yeah.
I don't know who is the source for this, but they were talking about that had Verstappen carried on just normal pace and everything, the gap between him and Leclerc would have been 25, 30 seconds. Like 25 to 30 seconds. And then it would have been 50 seconds to the Mercedes. And basically, if they can lower their car like Red Bull do, because obviously Ferrari's still getting porpoising.
Sainz's car was outrageous.
Bad. He thinks that they can be uncatchable. So we could, if they are able to conquer this, that Ferrari car is not faultless. No. It bounces down the straights. That's losing them time.
But are they now using, this is what they were having a discussion with on Friday, are they now using this as at their advantage in their setup? Because I'm not being funny, that car was flying and still it looked like Leclerc was like, he's got like a bobblehead or something.
Yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous.
No, and that's what I mean. It's like, how would they use that to their advantage? Or have they found a way?
That's what I'm wondering, because Sainz looked pretty quick until he...
No, both of them look quick. Yeah. I mean, I did read that they turned their engines up to counteract the straight line speed of the Red Bull.
Well, it definitely did that, didn't they?
The Ferrari, it looks like it's actually it looks like Scare Electrics.
Yeah.
It looks like it's stuck to the track.
It looks so sick, though. I have to say, Ferrari, they've done a great job. If you are Red Bull, would you think already that Max will not win the title this year? I mean, he's got 25 points. Leclerc is already on 71 points.
I think it's a bit early.
I'm not saying count him out, but I mean, if they're gonna have these issues, he's not.
There was, man, this Reddit thing is actually. You ever heard of it, Reddit? There was someone on it who was talking about the biggest point deficits that world champions have had to overturn.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest one was James Hunt. Don't know, would this have been the early 90s maybe?
Yeah, and James Hunt and...
I don't know, but he had to overturn a 99-point deficit. And he won it. He did do it. Yeah, and that was obviously, I say 91, it was 91 if the current point system was used. So it was probably like a much smaller amount of points, but it was all relative. So it was the equivalent of a 99-point deficit. So, and Charles said himself, it's way too early.
Oh, it is. And I'm not saying ruling Max out. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is,
with that reliability problem,
you
would certainly be thinking like,
your biggest concern is actually Mercedes could beat you.
Oh, it was a 97-point deficit in 1976. But then Raikkonen overturned 72 points, and he's currently 46 points behind Max.
Yeah.
Vettel overturned 44 points in 2014.
Did he?
2012. Why? I can't read. Yeah.
I just can't. I don't know. There's got to be something massive. I just can't see Ferraris being stopped now. They look so strong that actually, I mean, yes, I think Mercedes will get better in Imola. I think if they bring upgrades, which is what they were saying, I think they'll be strong.
I'm struggling to see how they get it as good as that Ferrari.
I can't see it. I honestly can't see it. You saw aspects yesterday of Red Bull looking good. They had the pace.
Their cars are really good.
But not as good as Ferrari. Ferrari were pulling away. After the safety cars, Ferrari...
A, not as good as Ferrari. And B, not as reliable as Ferrari.
No.
The Ferraris have had no issues.
Which is mad, isn't it? Considering this is a brand new car, and there you've got Ferrari pretty much just going, yeah, I found this quite easy actually. Our car's dominating. Quickly touching on Mercedes.
Just before we do that, because I do have another interesting...
Oh, where's this stat from, Luke?
Reddit. It's a reliable source. Could this be something to do with Max's problem? He was complaining about the car all weekend.
Yeah.
Right? So, does anyone know what parc ferme is?
Yeah, it's where you park up. It's actually where you park up when you go into the pit stop.
Oh, well, it says Red Bull replaced a lot of parts in parc ferme before the Melbourne GP.
Yeah.
Hear this, right? And this is all this is legit because it was they have to report it to the FIA. Car number 1, which is Max, auxiliary radiator, LHS deflector.
Oh, not the LHS reflector.
That's important. That the fuel cell loom, clutch actuator, gearbox hydraulic system and actuators, clutch brake outbox, parameter changes associated with clutch, gearbox, and whatnot. Sergio Perez has had one change on his car. It's an auxiliary radiator.
Could you tell me what the auxiliary radiator does?
I can't tell you anything. If someone knows, just drop a comment down below.
You guys are smart, may I just add? You guys are very knowledgeable.
Oh, you know a lot more than us.
Yeah, I like it.
Because I saw someone say something about your car knowledge, and I was thinking we don't proclaim to be.
Yeah,
engineers.
I never once said that I'm like a mechanic.
We're idiots.
Yeah, I mean,
why are you listening to us?
We just talk our opinions. I'm not going to say I'm auxiliary radiator. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, no, if you want a proper explanation of what these are, go on Google.
Yeah, or Reddit.
Yeah, Reddit is good. But yeah, basically, this guy is saying he had a feeling that Red Bull were running the engine as hard as possible to try and keep up with Ferrari.
It still wasn't good enough.
It was,
which is mad.
I know.
Which is it just. I don't understand how we've gone from last year where you've got a Red Bull and Mercedes which were just dominant to this year that you've got a Ferrari being dominant. Red Bull don't have any answers for it. The best team out there last year, Red Bull, we even said, didn't we? Red Bull were phenomenal in their tactics, in the way they set up their car. They're struggling this year. Yeah. And then you got Mercedes going, oh yeah, P11, amazing work.
Yeah, well, who's top of the constructors?
Ferrari.
Oh. Really thought it was Mercedes,
No, Ferrari.
Is it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Have a look. Have a look on our Instagram post.
Mm. No, I trust you. Don't worry. If it is Ferrari.
It is Ferrari.
I just feel pretty stupid, that's all. But yeah. No, they're in a real spot of bother.
Yeah, it's concerning. It's concerning. It was interesting with Max Verstappen. He said afterwards, he said it's unacceptable.
Well, yeah.
And do you think he's? I did put this on a post, and some people were like, "Nah, what are you on about?"
Oh yeah, I know the post you're on about because you spelled patience wrong. Because you're a nurse, you put patience as in
Yeah, but that's what I meant. Is he patient? Anyway, do you think he's losing patience with Red Bull? Because I'm not being funny. Well, all the comments he's saying, he's not. He's not painting Red Bull in the greatest light.
The thing is, right, is Max has always shown this. He's a spoilt child. You can't end last season saying, "Oh, I want to do this forever with you guys.
I love you."
Yeah, and then a couple of months later, start getting pissed off with the team because it's not all going your way. These things happen.
Yeah,
get behind them. And don't get me wrong, it must be so frustrating when he's racing as well as he can.
Yeah,
to me, he looks as good as last season.
Yeah,
he's rapid, not making mistakes. And then your car breaks down.
Mm.
Yeah, you'd be pissed off. But I'm not sure if going after the team is the best way to do it.
No. Well, Lewis, for example, he hasn't really slated the team, has he? Mercedes. He's got behind him.
No, I definitely feel like after Jeddah, though, you could tell he was a bit like...
He was, yeah, you could tell he's going to be peed off. I still love that meme. Bono goes, so Lewis, that's P10. Do you even get a point for that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Let's touch on Mercedes quickly. I mean, I said it in week 1. Damage limitations, really, isn't it? They came away with, what, 3rd and 4th?
Well, should we talk about their race pace? I'm not being funny. That car looks like a good race car.
Potential to be a good race car. Yeah.
I mean, okay, look at the times they were putting in when they were trying to set like hot laps.
Yeah.
Average. Raceability, that car's good. Lewis was closing in on Checo.
Yeah. And, he got up to 3rd on the first corner.
Yeah, he was going to if Perez didn't pull into the pits,
yeah,
he was going to overtake him.
But we've also got to give Mercedes some props here because their reliability is there.
Yeah.
Which has got to be really positive. If you have got upgrades coming in Imola and that actually after 3 races, you're second in the constructors, you've got George Russell who's second in the driver's standings, and you've had good reliability, you've got to be pretty confident with that.
Yeah, if we said this from the start. Clearly, they see something in that car.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they would have done something. I don't know. I don't know if you're allowed to like go back to the Barcelona car or whatever. Like, it was Barcelona.
No side pods.
No, when they had side pods.
Oh, that was Bahrain.
No, Bahrain they had no side pods.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay. Let's move on. Welcome along to Dumb and Dumber.
Don't drag me down with you. Yeah, so they must see something in it. So if we do get these upgrades, I think they're in a good position. Like I said, I think those Ferraris, man, they do look good.
I can't see anyone else winning this
if they can get up to even the Red Bull standard, now all of a sudden you've got Lewis in the mix, Lewis, Max, and Charles going at it.
And George.
3 top drivers.
George, he looked quick.
Yeah, but come on, these guys. George looks great. But this is his first year in a car that is actually worth driving.
Yeah, true. But if you're Mercedes, you've probably got to be thinking we could go for a 9th constructors title this year.
For sure.
I mean, that's like after 3 races, you wouldn't expect to say that after race 1, would you? Or even race 2. Lewis Hamilton finishing 10th in Saudi Arabia. You wouldn't think but damage limitations and on a whole, it's impressive.
Did you see what Horner said?
No.
He essentially, I'm not going to quote this word for word, but it was basically, I'd rather work with an unreliable fast car than like a reliable slow car.
Yeah, no, I did.
Obviously taking a swipe at Mercedes.
Yeah.
But
who's got most points?
Yeah, personally, I disagree. So long as the slow car has potential to be fast.
Do you think Toto Wolff goes over and goes, "How's your car, bitch"?
Well, I fucking hope he does. I'm not going to lie, I'm missing that rivalry though.
That's one of my favourite quotes so far on the podcast. How's your car, bitch?
How's your car, bitch?
Yeah.
But are you not missing the rivalry?
I am.
I hate how kind the Red Bull Ferrari rivalry is at the moment. Is that just because it's the start of the season?
I think it would change. All you need is a big crash. Well, not a big crash, but you need someone to take someone off.
Max is driving completely differently. He's not dive bombing Leclerc at all. I know, okay, he in Jeddah or wherever it was Jeddah. And even Bahrain, to be fair. He was, but nowhere near as aggressively as
he's trying to play it smarter now because he knows Leclerc's playing smart.
I think it's because he's got quite a lot of points. Like you're only allowed to accumulate a certain amount of points and you get a race ban.
12 points, yeah.
Yeah. What, he's on like 7 or 8?
It's 8, I think, the last time I posted.
So
very true.
I think he's bearing that in mind.
Well, is that going to compromise him this year? Evidently, it already is.
Because his
aggression is his strength.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because people don't like...
No.
They're like, oh, fuck that, I'd rather just finish second.
Exactly. Quickly finishing on Lewis and George. Obviously, Lewis finished 4th. He had to slow down his car, coast through certain corners because his car was overheating. Do you think they should let Hamilton try and fight for P3? Because at one point he said, "You put me in an uncomfortable position here."
Yeah.
I mean, he's saying it's because he had to coast overheating.
Yeah.
You wouldn't really say those words if
No, and it must have been hard. Surely I know he's a winner, but there must have been a part of him that thought like, I don't want to go and race George and take his first Mercedes.
Yeah.
Technically, it would have been his first proper podium as well.
Yeah, what is it, Spa?
That doesn't count.
That doesn't count.
It doesn't count.
You can't class that.
Like, surely there was a big part of him that thought, it's not worth it.
No.
For the team, I'll take fourth.
They seem like a quite tight unit, though, don't they, Mercedes?
Yeah.
They do.
To be honest, I think all the teams do.
Yeah.
I don't think... top teams, I don't really like... like Stroll and Vettel, I don't know whether they get on. You don't really see much of it.
See it.
The teams that you see quite a bit of, Lando and Daniel, I think I know like Netflix portrayed them as like mortal
But I think
enemies.
they get on well. Social media, they're brilliant.
They look like they get on really well. Lewis and George, Sainz and Leclerc look like they get on like house on fire.
Should we quickly touch on McLaren, finish on McLaren before we go on to fans' questions? Because we've already been talking. How long have we been talking? 48 minutes. Wow. It's amazing how much crap you can talk in that time.
If you're still here, give yourself a clap.
Give us a like. McLaren, phenomenal weekend for them.
Yeah.
And, when you look at what they've had in the last two races, good amount of points. Lando looked good.
Yep. Danny looked consistent.
Again.
At one point, Lando was losing power.
Yeah.
I saw this on Reddit.
Oh, God.
If you've heard of it, it's this little website where everyone posts stuff about stuff.
God, it's going to get annoying now.
Yeah, and his race engineer told him, I don't think they showed this on TV. Right, this is the power of Reddit. Just this little website where
Move on.
His race engineer said to him, Lando might be losing power. And then like Danny Rick was like, what do you want me to do if he loses power? So he's like, go past him. So like, what that showed me is they clearly have a lot of respect for each other. Danny's saying like, what should I do in that situation? But B, is there a problem? Why was he losing power?
He didn't look like he was losing power, did he?
I
know, but he didn't look like it from the race pace.
No, and then I think it was one of those things that maybe they rectified through like the whatever they do back at base. Like because the cars are like electric essentially. I'm sure they do shit like telepathic shit. But yeah, other than that, the whole weekend
they were solid.
They took strides forward.
People who didn't make strides, Alfa Romeo had a bit of a poor weekend.
Yeah.
Alpine ended up having a poor weekend. Ocon got
But
points.
shouldn't have.
No. Alonso went on to the mediums. They grained massively.
Yeah.
And then before you knew it, he was... I think he finished last, almost.
He
Not
did.
last after the ones DNFs, but yeah, he finished almost close to the back.
And shall we talk about...
I think Latifi beat him.
Shall we talk about the driver of the day, the true driver of the day?
Go on.
Who am I going to say?
I don't know who. Gasly? No.
Why would it be Gasly?
Bottas?
If you tell me, no. I don't just churn out random names here. Firstly, why would it be Gasly?
I don't know. He's just solid. That's the only person I could think. Because
Okay.
the people we haven't spoken of.
All right. Secondly, why would it be Bottas?
I don't know because you like him.
Why did you say
But
it
this is
then?
what I'm trying to work out because we've already spoken about people like Leclerc. Are you talking about Perez?
Look at him, right? This is the mentality of a lot of Formula One fans. In every sport, you see this. He's only thinking of the top dogs.
No, I'm not. But that's why I went to Bottas and Gasly, and that's why you laughed at me. But okay, let me have a think. Oh, okay, I know. The big
better
man,
be right.
Albon.
Yes.
Phenomenal. P10. Phenomenal. Yes. How can
And
I
he
forget
did
that?
the whole race on one set of tyres.
And then she came on the last lap, didn't
Yeah.
he? Phenomenal strategy. But no, delighted for him. Delighted for Williams.
Because obviously you have to pit.
Yeah.
Like that's a rule.
Yep.
Could he have, on the very last lap, because Williams are like right at the back,
Yeah.
could he pit and cross the finish line inside the pit lane?
I believe you can, but I think their one is past the line.
Oh,
I think.
So they had to like...
Yeah, if I'm correct, I may be wrong here. As I said, we're not F1.
Yeah.
I don't know everything about cars and stuff. But I believe their line is past the finish line. They would have got fined otherwise if they hadn't.
Yeah, or he might have been disqualified.
Like he did in qualifying.
Yeah, mate. P20
to P10.
P10.
Phenomenal.
In
I'm delighted. I like
piece
Albon.
of junk.
And I have to say, when I did the podcast fight, I was unsure about him, but he is being consistent. He is performing well. And actually, do I think he would do as well as George Russell? No, but I think he has a potential in that Williams car to take it to the next level.
I think he looked like a man under pressure at Red Bull.
Yeah. Well, Drive to Survive showed that. He was just like, all the time was just like...
Yeah, I think it was, maybe it was one of those scenarios where it was too soon in his... Some people lap that pressure up and they deal with it.
People like Max, people like Lewis, people like Charles, yeah.
Some people, no, crumble.
Yeah.
And they need the experience. He looks happy at Williams.
Yeah. Oh, it's phenomenal. I'm really happy for him.
But he didn't get Driver of the Day award.
Who did?
I think it went to Charles, maybe.
It's got to be Albon. Oh, I haven't done a Driver of the Day, actually, on Instagram.
Racecast
Should do it. Talk about Racecast fans. You're legends. You got your phone. Shall we do the questions?
I don't have my phone.
This is really good.
I actually don't have my phone. I should have them. How did you send them to me?
WhatsApp.
I should have them on my laptop.
This is how organised Luke is. This is what I have to deal with each week. Well, I haven't got them.
Well, can I actually?
There we go.
I was on this website called Reddit earlier.
Oh, God. No, this can't be a thing.
It's just this little forum where people post shit. And I actually saw quite an interesting question that this chap was putting towards the Reddit community.
Yeah.
And he said, why does every race start with such a low camera angle? Is this some kind of tradition or something? It really annoys me how we can barely even tell what happens off the starting line until they replay it from high up a couple of laps in. We have pretty much nothing to go by except commentary telling us who got a good or bad start. And I thought, quite
a valid point.
Quite a good point, actually. I love that shot.
Yeah.
Where you see I don't know what it's called, but you can see the heat coming up. Do you know what I mean? And then the car's just coming towards you, but it's a fair point. You can't see shit. You have no idea what's going on.
But you wouldn't want to change it though, would you?
But you don't even know who's first. You wouldn't be able to tell if I don't know. I couldn't tell you if Charles or Max had a good start.
Yeah, okay.
Until they do. Or they come around the first corner and you're like, oh, look, he's in front.
But isn't that the suspense? That's the thing I like. I know that I'm going to have to wait until they get to that first corner to see who goes in front.
Okay, yeah.
See, for me, if I knew that I was high up and I'm like, oh yeah, he's going in first. I like the suspense when you've got both of them coming down and you're like,
who's going to take it? Yeah.
And then you go into the first corner and you're like, oh wow, yes, he got it.
Yeah, rather than being able to see everything.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't want to change that. I kind of like that.
Agreed. I didn't think of it like that, but you've because I was reading this and I was thinking yeah, no, you're right. Why do we put up with that shit?
Yeah, no, I like the fact of the suspense.
I agree. Do you like it? Let us know.
Remember, guys, you can check us out on all social media. Comment if you're watching on YouTube. Comment down below. So each week we ask you guys on Instagram what just basically questions you want to send in. And can I just say again, and we said this last time, your questions are so good.
Yeah.
What we love about it is that you're so into it already. We're episode 5, and already you're sending in really in-depth questions, wanting to know more. It's brilliant. So yeah, keep going. Thank you very much. Go on then. Do you want me to ask you? It's my turn to ask you this week.
Did you ask me last week?
You asked me last week.
Oh. There you go.
Right. Well, W21WDS says, who is the next up and coming star?
Right. So I think, are in a period where the up and coming stars are actually becoming the stars. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we've got Max has won his world championship. Charles he's in a good car. We're really starting to see it. George has been given a vehicle that is actually competitive. I think now, currently, there are no up and coming stars in Formula One.
Okay, interesting point. Interesting.
I think it's hard to argue with that point as well, because who is there?
I mean, yes, I think you touched on it. The ones who are already there are the ones who are, people like
we're sort
Norris
of in that crossover period where like those players are now becoming the big players.
I think Zhou has a potential to be good.
Yeah, but I think we need to see more.
Yeah,
someone that's an up and coming star has to have at least shown glimpses of stardom, I guess.
Yeah, no, valid point. Michael Collins 70 says, has Albon P10 put into perspective how bad Latifi is, or that Albon is just as good as George Russell? I suppose we kind of touched on it in a bit. But do I think that... I don't think Albon is as good as George Russell, but I think he's better than Latifi.
God, yeah. I think it's a combination of both. I think Williams have a really good young driver in the form of Alex Albon.
Yep.
And I think they have a really not so great driver in the form of Latifi.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think that's it really. I think, don't get me wrong, Albon got lucky with that strategy at the same time. Just, everything played in his favour, but he still drove that's the slowest car on the grid.
Yeah.
And he got P10. You can't take that away from him.
No, he did phenomenal. Right, for this one, I'm going to answer your one and you're going to answer mine, okay? So...
I don't understand.
So I'm going to ask you the question and I'm going to give you your answer for what you would say.
Okay.
And you're going to give the answer for what I would say.
Okay, yeah. No,
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Jack Piper says, who do you most dislike on the grid and why? So I'll go first for you. Luke's most disliked driver is Lance Stroll.
Yep.
And why is because he just can't stand him.
No, I just can't.
Yeah. There we go.
And we spoke about last week the drivers buying seats, and someone commented saying like they disagree for, I don't know, you read it, I didn't.
Yeah.
I don't really think you can disagree with that point.
No.
For
me?
It's annoying. And yours has got to be Latifi. You've got a real thing against him. And here's the thing, right? I personally don't dislike Latifi. I just think he's not very good.
Yeah. That's pretty much my main reason.
I think Stroll's actually quite dislikable. He's even come out and said he doesn't understand the penalty for weaving.
Yeah.
How can you not understand it, idiot?
Luke, who doesn't know about cars, could tell you what the issue was.
He was all over the place.
Okay, right. Liam_ep3. This is a good question. You're a team principal and you can choose 2 drivers in F1 history. No one that's won the world championship. Who do you have? Good question.
Jesus. All right, well, I'm not going to say... No one's going to be like pre-2004 here, because I was 8 years old then. I don't know who was racing alongside Ayrton Senna or whatnot. Yeah. That's before my time. Oh my God, this is the sort of question where like I need to sit down and really think about it. Do you have anyone in mind?
So I would have someone like Felipe Massa. I liked Massa.
No, that's actually a really... And
he was close to winning.
for a couple of seconds, he had one.
Yeah, but I liked him as a person. I thought he was a decent guy.
Lewis, I love how Lewis was in his head.
Oh, yeah. Massa, he was living there rent-free.
Yeah.
Felipe Massa, I would have.
You used to love Barrichello, I remember that.
I do like Barrichello. So
I remember the season where Button won it, I don't know how I remember this. You actually wanted Barrichello to win it.
Did I?
I remember I had a conversation with you, and because you were saying like he spent all those years like
in
playing second fiddle to Schumacher, and and this was probably, was it his last season, that Brawn GP season, or we knew it was?
Yeah, it was his last. Yeah,
and I think you wanted him to go out on a high.
That could have been true, but yeah, no, I do like Rubens Barrichello. But would I want him as... So Felipe Massa I'd have. Giancarlo Fisichella.
Fisichella, really?
Yeah, I thought I just like saying his name.
Yeah, no, it like rolls off the tongue.
Yeah. Fisichella, someone like that would be quite decent.
Oh god, this is gonna put me in such a hard position. Well, I was always I loved Montoya.
Oh, great shout!
That guy driving that what is the BMW, the
BMW,
Williams BMW.
yeah.
So I'd probably have to take him on board.
Great shout.
I do like the Felipe Massa call, but I don't want to be a copycat. In this scenario,
Okay.
are we allowed to assume that we've managed the person differently?
You can do in this scenario if you want, yeah.
So
look, the great thing about this is our scenario. We can make up whatever we want here.
We can quite well. In my scenario, I'm taking Michael Schumacher in 1993 before he's won anything.
Oh, no, that's just cheating.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that scenario's gone out the window. Yeah, no, that's no.
Okay, all right, no. Who I would take, only because I would take Daniel Ricciardo.
Oh my, no, get out.
No.
Okay.
Right. I would take him in 2015 before Christian Horner has made Max his golden boy and everything. I do think there was huge potential there, and I feel like he felt like he was never going to be the guy because he was never made to feel like the guy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's move on for that. I mean that's okay. I'll give you Montoya.
Yeah, but you took Massa.
Yeah. So Massa.
No, I didn't want to take him.
Massa was close to winning a title.
No, he was. Like I say, for a few seconds, he did win a title.
Yeah, well, yeah. There's celebrations still get.
All right, well, should I think of someone else then?
Well, no, this could be a long segment.
Mark Webber? Nah, I didn't rate Webber.
No. Well, next week, because there's no race this weekend. I've got a scenario for next week. Okay. So stay tuned for next week. I'll tell you that it's off camera, so you know.
So I can think about it.
You can have a think about it, yeah. But next week is going to be a decent episode and it's going to be interesting. So stay tuned for that. Final question. Josh_Murphy. Should Seb retire at the end of the season? Feel bad for him?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I do feel bad for him.
He is too good a driver to be driving for this joke of a team.
Yeah, he's...
And B... he is perhaps now not so good of a driver that I feel like it's actually affecting his legacy.
Yeah.
I feel like more people are maybe going to remember all these terrible weekends, especially with all these new fans coming into the scene. Those fans aren't going to know that he was stupidly dominant for 4 years.
All they're going to remember him is going around on a moped or Inspector Seb when he's looking at the cars. That's what they're going to remember him as.
Yeah.
Whereas it's sad because he was a 4-time world champion.
In consecutive years.
He was phenomenal. Like, he's such an outrageous driver.
He took it to the Mercedes
when
he was in the Ferrari.
Outrageous driver. And that's the sad thing, isn't it? When you see these people, like, you look at Alonso, for example, when he used to, in the Renault, he was outrageous. He was brilliant. And then all of a sudden, I mean, it's a bit different for him, I think. But
I also feel bad for Seb because do you think he went to Aston Martin thinking it was going to be the Racing Point? Do you know what I mean? Because Racing Point had, in that 2020 season, that was a solid car, best of the rest.
But you've gone from a Ferrari that was painfully slow, and then all of a sudden, 2 years later, you're watching them dominate, and you're still in an Aston Martin driving around on a moped. And the only good Aston Martin which was on the grid this weekend was the safety car.
Yeah, I'd be fuming.
I'd be livid.
I'd probably just retire now.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's I think he will retire at the end of the year, and I think it'd be a shame because I think he's been phenomenal for the sport. But I think it's probably the right time. Yeah. Guys, let us know what you thought. That is the end of the podcast.
Yeah, we're going to wrap it there.
Next week there is no race this weekend, but we are going to be talking about our F1 play, our fantasy as well. got an exciting segment, which I will tell you off camera, but do stay tuned for next week. It is good. It's going to be fun. And yeah, guys, check us out on all social medias. We really appreciate all the support so far.
And send us all your questions. Like I say, we do go through them, even if you DM us. Like, if you've got something that you want us to talk about, or you've seen something on that new website, Reddit, or anything, just send it to us. We will take a look.
And we will do another Instagram live soon because you guys seem to enjoy that. You had a lot of interaction on there. That was good fun. So yeah, we'll be on there shortly. We'll let you know. We'll let you know when we're going to do it, and then we can just do it properly. And can I just say, finishing off, soon we're going to be doing a YouTube live for a race.
Are we? I'm staying out of the production of that. I'm just turning up on the day.
Well,
are you allowed to drink on YouTube live?
Yeah, you can if you want.
Oh. Race day,
yeah. We'd have to do one when it's a bit later, not 6 a.m. in the morning.
No. But well done to everyone that did wake up. I feel like
there was a lot.
My messages were popping off. It was like,
all right, big head.
What can I say? It was one of the most active, don't know, inboxes that I've had for a long time. So many people speaking. We're all obviously speaking about the race, but I just thought it was really cool. Yeah. I had too many beers the night before. I woke up early at 5 a.m. because I needed to piss. And then I was like, no point going back to sleep. I felt like shit. And, because everyone was up and we were all just talking about the race, I was gassed for it.
Yeah.
And I forgot that I didn't feel very well.
It's a cool community, isn't it, what we're building?
Yeah.
I do like it. You guys are legends. So, yeah, thank you so much for watching. Luke, thank you. Remember, check us out on social media. And we'll be back next Wednesday with a brand new podcast. Bye-bye.